I welcome my dear students from HSC class from wherever you are. I am going to talk about the question from first paper, your text, first paper. I am going to talk about the question number 1, A and B, and then question number 2, a flow chart. And then if possible, if the time favors me, I must try question number 3, summarization. Okay, my dear students, we are going to talk about human rights and the violation of human rights in the world perspective. You know, our text is about Amerigo, a street child who is very unfortunate, who is very unlucky in a sense that he is a minor boy of only 13 years old and has to undergo a lot of sufferings due to their parents' separation from each other, and he has to take the shelter on the street. So now he has nobody to take care, to give affection and love, but even he has nothing to feed. So, finding no other alternatives, he has to take the work of a trash collector. This boy has to take the very odd jobs, which is not at all possible for a boy like him, but he has to take it because he has no other alternatives, and he has to take the job of trash collection. But after being affected by a serious infection, his doctor told him not to engage himself in such kind of job. So he had to leave this job, and then he has to take another job which is more harder. That is, he has to sell ice cream to the people who are on the sea beach. And he says that it is very painful when the box is full with ice cream. And this story is told by the first person narrator. Amerigo himself is the narrator of the story, and he is telling the story. We are now going to talk about the question that has the possibility to come in the question paper. We must focus on the question number 1A. There will be 10 questions, 10 alternative questions. You have to choose the correct answer from them, but I am here giving, for example, 5 MCQ question here. Okay, choose the correct answer from the alternatives. Number 8. Which of the following is the correct meaning of the word refuge? You know the word refuge from our text. In one place there is a word refused in the text. So you have to understand, you have to know the vocabulary, which words are uncommon, unfamiliar with you, and just to test that whether you have understood the passage, understood the vocabulary, understood the passage itself. Just for that, we are going to check your understanding. That is the word refuge. Refuge means reject, rubbish, junk, allow. And you can simply guess that the right or correct meaning of the word refuge should be reject. Then question number B. The word by stands for. By is a very, very common word for you. Acquire is not possible. Purchase, sale, exchange. From these four answers, one has to be taken as correct one. By stands for purchase. So my dear students, you have to be aware of that. Question number C. What made Amerigo fall sick? You know very well that Amerigo fell sick in one time in his work. But what made Amerigo sick is the question. So there are alternatives: living in the street, vendoring ice cream, collecting trash dumps, sorting rubbish in dumps. Okay, living in the street is not the reason why Amerigo fell sick. Vendoring ice cream is also not the reason. Collecting trash in the dump is the right answer here. This is the reason of his falling sick. Okay, next question number D. The narrator of the story is A or student, young man, orphan, abandoned child. These are the four alternatives. You have to choose just one answer, which is the right answer. Amerigo was not a student. You are very much you are aware of it that Amerigo didn't have the opportunity to go to any institution. He has no education at all. So he is not a student, even not a young man. We have read it in the very first lines that Amerigo was only 13 years old. So he is not a young man. An orphan. Orphan means who has no mother and father. But we came to know from the text that Amerigo has father and mother, but they are separated from each other. So due to their separation, Amerigo has to live in a very bad condition. So orphan is not the answer, but the abandoned child who has been abandoned by both of his parents. His parents didn't take care of him, so this is the right answer. Next, my students, question number E. Amerigo stopped, here is a dash, after being infected by a serious infection. You know, in one of his working time, he was infected by a serious disease, and his doctor forbade him to do this work. So, okay, working as an ice cream seller, we know very well that while working in the as an ice cream seller, he didn't take any infection. Collecting trash, doing shoe shining, going out. So You can easily guess that collecting trash is the reason after which Amerigo was infected. So there will be another 5 questions like this, and you have to answer all these questions. Okay, due to time constraints, I am not going to do that. There is another question number 2, a flowchart, about which I told in my earlier class. Sorry. So this is the question number 2. The question is, read the text and make a flowchart showing the struggling life of Amerigo. You have to mention that from the beginning to the end, the struggling life of Amerigo. Flowchart means not the whole sentence but the very phrase, word or phrase you have to put in these places. This is a flowchart show. Just look at the board and try to understand what it is. Struggling life. This is important. This is the real question of which you have to answer. One has been done for your lips on the street. Then, what is his struggling job? Collects and sells trash. Then suffering from serious illness. You know very well that sells ice cream on the beach. Another tough job he has to take in one of the phases of his life. Then question number 5, works often without being paid. Then works for hours with heavy ice cream boxes. These are all the painful and staggering things of Amerigo. So my dear students, this is for the first time you are facing in your HSC level. That was not available, that was not the question to be taught by you in your previous classes, in your high school classes. So you have to understand it very well. Question number 2, flowchart. Okay, if I get time, I will discuss it later in details what it should be. But in online classes, you know that there is a time limitation. We have to finish before 15 minutes. So by this time, it is very difficult. It is really difficult for us to cover all these complex things within this time. So you just see what it is. And you have to make these lines here and put the right answer on the box. If you are able to put the right answer from many alternatives, the question set are asked only five answers. If you can put it in the right way, you will have full marks. So don't worry. Next time I will talk about summarizing, if possible. Okay, thank you very much for joining with me.